Thank you for having me. This is wonderful, and I invite the people who are watching to come join us here on the panel group, because I want to make this a little bit more of a conversation, and because substantially um, this is about young people, and because some of the older people on here either started as young people or are parents to young people. I kind of want to begin with a story about one of my favorite people on the planet. Let me start by my introduction for you all. My name is Jim Friedman. I am professor of creativity at Miami University, which means essentially I teach kindergarten to college students. This is my creative license. I am licensed to teach creativity. What this is the earliest known picture of me with a mustache. Actually, I've had the mustache for a very long time, and students ask me how long I've had it. So that's me when I was 4. But the story I want to tell is important because creativity is so vital to us. And the study of creativity has only been going on for a very short time relatively. We've studied science for hundreds of thousands of years, and medicine for thousands of years, and philosophy for thousands of years. We've only studied creativity for about 70 years. And one of the things that really exploded that was this guy whose name is George Land. And George Land is the guy who NASA decided to ask to lead the charge to send us to the moon, land on the moon, and come back. They did this in the early 1960s when nobody had ever done that before. And George Land knew that if he was going to have scientists get us to the moon and come back, because it's never been done before, he needed not just the smartest people, but the most creative people, the people who could think differently. So he decided everybody who applied for a job at NASA, he was going to give them a test. But he also gave the exact same test to all those PhD scientists. He gave it to a whole bunch of 5-year-olds. The same test he gave to the PhDs, he gave to the 5-year-olds, 1,600 5-year-olds. And to his surprise, the 5-year-olds scored at a 98% genius level. 5-year-olds, creative geniuses, 98%. And that intrigued him. So he followed the same 1,600 5-year-olds for 5 years until they were 10. And he gave them the exact same test. So how did they score? Well, they scored at a 30% genius level. In 5 years, they had lost that much of their creativity. Well, that intrigued him even more. So now he waited 5 more years, followed the exact same 1,600, and asked them one more time. He gave them the same test, and they scored at a 12% genius level. To this day, adults score at about a 2% genius level, just like they did then. That's why this is such a cool organization, is because it values the creativity we have, our kid-like creativity, our desire to play, our desire to learn. But we lose that when we grow older. Now, why do we lose that? Well, we lose that a lot because of adults. When we first grow up, when we first are born, we want to touch everything. We want to experience everything. We want to see everything. Everything that we see, we want to just touch things. And we want to put them in our mouth, and we want to smell them, and we want to. And what do our parents say? They say, no, stop, don't, get down. That's not yours. It's not time for that. So These are the things that we do in order to begin to kill the creativity of our young people. I had a 6-year-old teach my class once. And it's fun kind of to see Kaylee and Julia. Julia has been in my class. Kaylee is about to be in my class. But I had a 6-year-old come teach my class. Her name is Mayhem. Actually, her name was Sydney, but her parents called her Mayhem. And they told me a story which is, I believe, the most beautiful thing I have ever heard from a parent about keeping creativity alive. So the parents were watching some show where all the movie stars were walking down the red carpet, and they noticed that Sydney had left. She was 5 at the time. She had just gone into the bathroom, and they didn't care. But when she came back, what she had done is she had taken all the toilet paper in the bathroom and fashioned herself a long evening gown. She had wrapped all herself up in rolls of toilet paper, and she walked out there into the living room and said, "I'm ready for the red carpet," wrapped in this evening gown of toilet paper. What would your parents say if you did that? Most parents would say, "You've made a mess. That's a waste of toilet paper. Why did you go clean that up? That's not what that's for." But what Sydney's parents did was they said, "Well, if you're ready for the red carpet, I guess we need to call the paparazzi." And they both went out and got cameras, and they had a fashion show of her in her evening gown taking pictures. What happened after that was Sydney became empowered, and she continued to create clothing. And by the time she was 6, she had her own clothing line with J. Crew. You can look it up, Fashions by Mayhem. So I had her come to my class and have a fashion show with my students, my 20, 21-year-old students. And what she did was she led them in an exercise of dressing yourself using only garbage, construction paper, newspaper. If we learn to say yes, if we learn to open ourselves up to the possibilities, then we keep creativity alive. Hey, Ethan. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
All right, where are you from?
I'm from Fairfield, Connecticut.
Fairfield, Connecticut.
Yep.
How have you expressed your creativity recently?
So I'll actually share a presentation. So I'm a co-founder of Three Ducks Design.
Cool, cool. One of the things that I want to say, I'm not going to have you do your presentation right now.
Okay.
But that's cool.
Thank you.
What I want to say is, and kudos to Ethan, is that we think of creativity so much in terms of art making.
Yeah.
We think creativity is about painting and drawing and dancing and writing and those kinds of things. But Ethan's creativity is what we call inventive creativity, second right answer creativity, finding a new approach creativity. And that's the type of creativity that Julia and Kaylee are really here about. And that's kind of what brought us all together. What we do, what Kaylee and Julia and about 33 of their best friends and I do, is we run an organization called World Creativity and Innovation Week, WCIW.org. It's World Creativity and Innovation Week and World Creativity and Innovation Day. And what this is a celebration around the world that invites young people and old people, or I should say young people from 2 years old to 102, to celebrate creativity every day. And to use their creativity to make the world a better place, as I'm sure Ethan and his three ducks are doing. Our students, our college students, work with people right now from, it's I think 62 or 63 countries right now. And they also do a whole bunch of social media on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And so we're kind of here to get you all excited about creativity and to join the movement and to let us know that you're out there celebrating creativity. We'll put you on our website. We will shout out to the world all the great things that you all are doing. So that's any questions? Thank you, Aaron and Marcy. And my goodness, we got lots of doctors in here.
Jim, I have a question. I have a question. I agree with everything you're saying about creativity. Unfortunately, I was also a teacher in a normal public school. And I can tell you that it's not that the teachers in a public school don't like creativity, but it's against the law. There are standardized tests. There's a curriculum you have to do. And if the kids do not achieve a certain standard level, the teacher gets their head cut off. So
yeah,
what can we do?
What we call that is teaching compliance. If we teach students to be compliant, which means sit down, shut up, listen, take notes, follow the rules, then you can regurgitate the information I have shared with you back onto the standard test. But what science shows is that if we teach empowerment, if we teach creativity from the beginning, which is the lessons of curiosity and play and what people do as scientists, which is prototype and try things and fail and learn from failure and grow from it, that the students will actually do a better job, even on those standardized tests. We need to empower them. And that's where it comes in. Yeah, it is against the law because, number one, we don't teach creativity because our teachers are afraid that the students are more creative than they are. The truth of the matter is they are. We also don't teach creativity because it's hard to grade. And secret to Kaylee, who's going to be in my class beginning next week, I don't grade your creativity. I grade your process. I grade the creative way you get to it. Whatever your creativity is, whatever your outcome is, that to me is perfect, no matter what it is. We celebrate failure. I actually give grade bonuses for the number of times students fail in trying new things. Because if you only do what you've only done, you'll only get what you've already got. Cool? I think I'm running out of time. Is Ethan next?
I think so.
Wow. Wow.
Actually, it's a good segue because he's going to talk about creativity.
I think that's wonderful. So I really appreciate you all having me here. I am in the middle, actually, even on a Sunday morning, of teaching a class. I'm going to be going on and off continually, but I got to go talk to another team. I will watch the recording for you, Ethan, but I invite everybody watching to come join WCIW.org and let us know how you're celebrating creativity. And thank you.
Will you do one thing for me, please, before
Absolutely.
you go? Will you repeat the quote you just gave? I'm trying to type it quickly. If you only do what you've always done.
The quote is, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got, what you've already got. Or
and remember, we're recording this, Sherilyn, so
I know.
we can go back and get it again.
I'm old. I type things.
No, I appreciate that. If you always do what you've always done, you'll only get what you already got. So you got to find new ways to do things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.